Europe's going to clown world. Of course, the progressive Fabian socialists, Marxists in Europe are going to submarine themselves and take themselves out of the most radically advanced monetary platform and computer network to ever exist in the world. And here we are with some name. It is technical standards specifying certain requirements of markets and crypto asset regulation. The European Securities and Markets Authority trying to pass this bill attacking proof of work. Marty Bent lays out a great article here about this. One of the great cards we have in here is about green energy and how Bitcoin is green. Actually, one of the cards in the Bitcoin trading cards talks about this very subject, goes through all the objections. Series 2 we had was actually about FUD and combating all the points of FUD with beautiful artwork and the descriptions. So you can check those out at btc-cards.com. Unbelievable cards. You can get cheap ones, you can get collectors that are worth a lot of money in the secondary market. It's up to you. This, however, is incredibly important because Bitcoin doesn't care at the end of the day. People are going to learn this really, really, really big lesson over the next few years. Bitcoin doesn't care. And you don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. You can only cut yourself off of this network. So people are going to give themselves freedom. They're going to give themselves wealth and permissionless use of this network, transmitting value back and forth to each other instantaneously across the world. And some people are just going to cut themselves off from it. And it's a hard pill to swallow for some people, especially people in these regions. That's why it's so important for Bitcoiners to stick together and people that are for freedom and liberty to stick together, because there couldn't be anything more freedom-based and liberty-based than Bitcoin, than the free use of your money and being able to transact, freedom of transaction. The one big thing they point to in this, which is hilarious, is energy consumption. But they're going to go off and start wars and be in wars together and drop bombs on each other's heads. That's a lot of energy being used to create those bombs, to fly those planes, and to explode those bombs. There's a lot of energy being used there and created and destroyed. I shouldn't say it's not created nor destroyed. It just transfers states. That's a lot of energy usage, guys. So that's my point with all this. This is gaslighting to the nth degree. And this is how you know when things don't meet the smell test and they don't fit into first principles or natural law, you have a rat on your hands. So energy consumption, right? Energy consumption. They got to go to proof of stake. Proof of stake is a captured and controlled system. That's literally, most crypto is proof of stake. That's why we say they're all shit coins and they're all garbage, because they're controlled by a few people who have stake in the system, just like the fiat legacy system. The politicians, the central bankers have the stake in the system to run it, and they get to say what we can do. Well, that's coming to an end all over the world. People are starting to realize, and the more people learn about Bitcoin, they realize, no, I have control of my money, my wealth. You don't. It's rules, not rulers. And this is what the founding fathers here in America wanted. They wanted private issuance of the money. They didn't want it in government's hands. People say all kinds of stuff like, what about free banking and all this stuff? Number one, the biggest thing is with free banking, you didn't have the ability to transact at the speed of commerce. You didn't have that ability. We just didn't have it back then. So yeah, could there be problems with every state has their own gold coin or different coins or minting of currency, whatever? Yeah, of course there could be. Again, we're not going to go down that road and relitigate that right now. But now we have the technology. We actually have the discovery of Bitcoin to instantaneously transact all over the world. It doesn't matter where it is. And the nodes will accept the money if it's the real thing or not. Boom, done, end of story. It just obliterates the free banking argument, because we are in the era of free banking and of private money. Because issuance of money, it's created through people using value with each other and creating value, goods and services, and then transacting. Money isn't created by the state. We don't have some benevolent state that says, hey, you get some money, here, you guys. They think they do. Most humans think they do, unfortunately. And then governments think they do. They think they have the ability to just print it and they're the god of money. That's not how it works. They've just created a currency, something to transact in, and then said at the barrel of a gun, said, hey, you need to pay taxes in this, and forced people and scared people into using it. But that's it. It's just a fear of threat and violence and coercion and imprisonment and taxation is the only reason people use their currency. That's it. People also have to remember, though, that they have the ability to change that if they keep the government at bay, in check, and vote the right people into power, and are scrutinizing the government all the time. Government wouldn't be able to get away with these things. So coming back to this and landing my plane here, energy consumption. Energy is I can't stand this argument either. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just is. It transfers states. This whole, we went from the World Economic Forum, the Club of Rome, and all these organizations for 100 plus years trying to get, really, I guess 50, 60 years, trying to get the climate change initiative going forward as a big enough problem that the world can coalesce around and we can distract people to try to fight this, saying, wow, the 1% of 1% of 1% get to do whatever they want. That's in essence, long story short, of what's going on here. And they use climate change. It was global warming, then it was global cooling, then it was global warming, then it was climate change, now it's energy usage. They keep moving the goalpost because none of it is true. So they keep moving the Overton window, keep shifting the language, weaponization of language, which we've done other videos about. You can check those out. Weaponizing humans against themselves, their own good. But energy consumption. Energy is not created nor destroyed. It changes states. That's it. It changes states. We don't lose energy. So someone using energy, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. We still have energy everywhere. We are energy. There's energy all around us. Everything is energy. It's just the speed of vibration is the only thing that changes. That's how energy changes states. It's the speed at which the molecules travel. That is it. You can go watch Bob Proctors of the world. You can go watch theologians. Science and theology tell us that same thing. We have to understand that this is the root basis of everything, and everyone is going to go through a massive learning lesson here this next decade. And we talked about, we don't learn these things in school. We just talked about this week. Go back and watch a video from a couple days ago about what the 10 things that people wish they would have learned in school and the 10 things that were completely useless learning in school. We just did articles on this. They just did polls on this. We just talked about this. And if you take your children and just teach them those first 10 things, people what they wish they would learn in school, you're going to be light years beyond anyone else. So in landing the plane here, energy consumption is laughable. They try to point to Ethereum because it's a captured coin. It's probably going to be what a lot of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, are used on. ERC token, Brazil, ERC token, Sudan or whatever. They're going to keep trying to use Ethereum, I would guess, which I made this prediction like almost 2 years ago, I think a year and a half ago. Again, we have a video you can go check out here that my prediction was that Ethereum was going to be used as a captured coin, especially moving to proof of stake. It's going to be the coin they're going to try to use as a CBDC in all these other countries. Again, this is so important to understand. When we have freedom to transact, when we have freedom to use money and bank ourselves and be our own bank and do what we need to do, human life flourishes, economic activity flourishes, and when there's more economic activity, life flourishes. Period. End of story. It's not what the collectivists want to hear. It's not what the Fabian socialists want to hear, the Marxist progressive. They don't want to hear that. They want control over everyone's life. They want you living in a pod and sucking your time and energy away from you through inflation. And you being in a literal, or a figurative pod. But at some point, I think they do want everyone in a literal pod as you go look at the videos that they make now and the content they put out. So this is a huge shot across the bow to proof of work by the EU. There's people fighting against it right now. But if you're in the EU, fight against this. If you're a Bitcoin or anywhere else, make your voice known. Disinfect darkness with light. The human race will become freer and freer. There will be less war. There will be more abundance. There will be cheaper energy going forward. But we need to be part of that change. We need to stand up. Good people need to stand up and disinfect the darkness with light. Evil only exists because good people stand, or they cease to stand against that darkness. And as Marty says here at the end, it's important to be clear here. The only thing that these requirements accomplish is that they are written into laws. They are written into law. If they are written into law, is the prevention of European citizens from reaping the benefits of the most radically liberating technology humanity has ever come in contact with. So true. Bitcoin won't even notice that the EU has cut itself off from the network. Other countries who recognize the opportunity that Bitcoin represents will take advantage of that opportunity and surpass the EU as it renders itself an anti-progress regime. Please share this out. The algorithm hates truth. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust but verify. And this is not financial advice. It is freedom advice, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.